The Labyrinth. What is it? Perhaps best symbolized by the spiral itself, we see its symbolism everywhere in heroine-centric stories. But in terms of writing fiction, the labyrinth is a narrative construct, a metaphor for the vast inner world of the heroine's native culture, an interconnecting webwork of familiar people and places, where dangers and conflicts are much closer to home. How else can we truly explain or understand the countless stories where the heroine doesn't go on a hero's journey, but instead experiences the complexities of daily society? Most of the heroine's conflicts will be amongst people she knows, in social situations, in familiar environments. And like in any labyrinth, although it appears to allow freedom of movement, it's actually designed to keep the inhabitant inside. In numerous heroine-centric stories, the heroine often feels trapped, confined or repressed by the native culture. She usually experiences pressures or challenges from within the home, from family members, people who have an interest in the continuity of something cultural. She may be wary of traps, those who seek to capture, convert, or possess the heroine for self-serving reasons. The heroine often has dreams or aspirations that may be discouraged by the native culture. Social isolation, more so than death, is the threat. Stigma, a dreaded scarlet letter. As our heroines travel deeper into the labyrinth, they may break through facades or enter places of familiarity and safety where all is not well. The heroine must be cautious in the labyrinth, for her enemies are not far off, but pass close to her. Even in numerous stories where the heroine appears to go on an exotic journey, in reality the journey is a material manifestation of the home world itself. A fantastic reimagining of the heroine's home life. Sometimes there's a maze hidden just outside her window, and often with game-like rules where she can win or lose. So many great works of literature depict a heroine navigating the dangers and strange hidden worlds of society. But we see these complexities manifested into actual physical structures, especially in film. The maze becomes real, a material symbol of socio-cultural conflicts. And we see these subconscious projections repeating themselves in stories. Things like The Secret Door, in which the heroine discovers a magical entry into a larger world right in the heroine's backyard or hidden inside the house. It's fascinating to see these recurrent themes repeating in our stories. In most of these stories, the heroine isn't a warrior. She's a person more like you and me. And the most extraordinary things are just behind the mundane and commonplace. Usually in Act 1 of the story, heroines are simply seeking greater autonomy, exploring these hidden worlds, while also discovering who they are, what they care about, and what they'll fight for, and they're willing to tumble down the rabbit hole to find out. But there are authority figures and trusted guardians, friends and family. Trust is a rare commodity in heroine-centric stories, and often the labyrinth becomes confusing as the heroine is redirected or misdirected by members of the native culture. And it is this world that the heroine learns to navigate carefully. It's not linear, but multi-directional, non-linear and asymmetrical. The labyrinth may even symbolize the human psyche itself, an outer expression of our inner human mind. It could be the city in which the heroine lives, a woman on a game board, set to navigate rules, traditions, gender roles, or any other expectations that are preset. However, although the labyrinth may seem to be a mental or physical prison, the heroine does intend to break through. She intends to escape. In fact, in many heroine-centric stories, the confining or restrictive symbolism of the labyrinth actually represents a real push towards freedom. How many of our stories show us a heroine inside the maze, desperately trying to escape the labyrinth. Whether we are talking about mythology, folk tales, or modern storytelling, there is something visceral that resonates with these heroines. This desperate drive for freedom is an inherent human impulse that speaks to all of us. These heroines are modeling a way out, almost like an obstacle course in which movement forward is the key, while solving puzzles, overcoming challenges, and evading danger. The archetypal design of the Labyrinth is timeless. It's embedded in the human psyche. We'll always recognize it and will always respond when we see it. We instinctively know that when our heroine makes her move, she'll be pursued. And whether it is the masked minotaur of the Labyrinth or the native culture itself, how many stories depict a heroine trying to escape towards freedom while being pursued. This isn't a small or obscure sample of heroines, but our most iconic in our greatest stories. Fellow writers, the Heroine's Labyrinth is existentially and fundamentally distinct as a storytelling model. The changes and differences aren't trivial. And from this one distinction, the Labyrinth, comes 17 other archetypal designs, each with their own meaning and unique wisdom. Escaping dependency, mastering our labyrinth, and attaining personal power creates a growth arc for everyone.